Hi, it's Ian from the Postal Hub podcast,
And Marek from Last Mile Experts.
and we are the Last Mile Prophets. This is the last word on the last mile. Marek, peak season is almost upon us. I saw somebody say the other day it's 100 sleeps till Christmas.
Or
Yeah,
not, as the case may be.
well, there's an old joke about that we're not going to run right now. Um, we are running a survey on how the carriers, postal operators, parcel carriers are preparing for peak. I'll put a link down below. Fill out that survey and you'll get a free copy of the results. That's for all carriers. But Marek, you recently posted something on LinkedIn, just some top tips for preparing for peak. And one of the things I picked up on was this first in, first out theory, because that can sometimes be a bit of a stumbling block when it comes to processing large amounts of parcels and you're setting up pop-up parcel centers and things like that, can't it?
It can indeed, but the reality is it's the only way that we maximize customer experience because I have actually experienced peak times where it was actually more like LIFO. And what then happened is the people have already been hit by the fact there's no delivery, get a double whammy. And in some cases, you can be talking 3 or 4 weeks for the delivery. So probably, and it's not a surprise that it's one of the first things on the list. FIFO really maybe should be tattooed on the forehead
Oh,
of the
100%,
warehouse
100%
supervisor.
agree with that, because it just boggles my mind when companies don't get that right. Another big part of peak is the hiring surge, and we've read the mind-boggling numbers for Amazon, FedEx, UPS, but it's really important to get that organised early when you're preparing for peak.
Yeah, to be really honest, Ian, this is not even the 11th hour. I'd say it's the 11:59 and 59 seconds moment. So probably at this stage, not everything on our list can be covered. This should really be looked at during summer. I know this was a very specific summer, but
It was, but I think the other thing we have to bear in mind here is a lot of posts are still operating under social distancing guidelines. So if you want to throw people at a problem, it's a difficult way. It's a difficult way to resolve the problem if you've got social distancing. If you have to manage your shifts in a different way to how you would have 12 months ago, a lot of planning involved in that.
indeed, Ian, but I think there are some parts of this that actually work well with, if you can use that phrase, with COVID, in the sense that I think the public, the consignees, are more tolerant. And one of the very important things here, and it's really easy, is just to explain to your customers that it's not going to be an easy time. COVID is making it difficult.
A hundred
And
percent, yeah, 100%. And
Ian,
just
you know what I mean? Don't call because it's not arrived at exactly the hour it should come. Give a little bit of leniency.
Yes, managing expectations, I think, is really important. And we discussed this back during the first part of the pandemic, where I think it was DHL Parcel in Germany was going out to its merchants to say, we've got to cap the number of parcels that you're putting into the network. And the same thing applies now, doesn't it?
I think, yeah, and it's a mixture. You've got the caps on one hand, so you have to have, and this is really difficult because for e-commerce to be told we can't ship your parcels is a challenge. But I think it's a two-way comms exercise. The e-commerce has to explain to their customers, look, it's going to take a little bit longer, and
Exactly.
that's really important because the worst is where the e-commerce player basically seeks to put the blame onto the carrier. The truth at the end of the day, everybody looks bad. The carrier's in a real fix. And I think both sides need to communicate and just need to have the customers understanding, look, it's really difficult not to call because it's a minute late because you block the customer service lines, not to get uptight and be prepared perhaps to go to a Pudo close by or a locker and pick up your parcel even if you'd expected a home delivery.
It took you 4 minutes to mention parcel lockers, Marek. Um,
Guess what I haven't mentioned yet, Ian? What is needed to make this work really well?
special sauce, Marek.
Which is
Interactive Delivery Management,
IDM.
IDM.
Yes.
But just very quickly on that point about managing customer expectations, I know that I'm not alone in having already started Christmas shopping, and I'm a last minute guy. I will usually buy Christmas presents the first week of December if I'm lucky. Here we are, end of September. I'm already planning, already buying Christmas presents because I don't want to be left, to leaving it to the last minute. Now I have to hide them, which is the difficult part. And that's not part of your peak plan, Marek, how to advise customers how to hide their Christmas presents at home so that, so that they don't get found.
I won't ask what you bought me, Mr. Kerr. Look at that guilty look there.
We can't go through the entire list because we don't really have time, but every peak you have to plan for some sort of a disruption, whatever it might be. Thunderstorm. If you're in far north Queensland, it might be thunderstorms and cyclones, weather conditions, bushfires, whatever it is. Especially important this time round to have a really robust crisis management plan. Yeah.
Absolutely, and what I would really encourage though is we'll post this both on the lastmileprofits.com page and on Last Mile Profits, and it would be really great if people could just come up with their ideas, what's worked for them, because this is a bit of a self-help exercise. If anyone can add to the list, it's going to get better and better. And let's hope that the profits can have the definitive peak plan. It's going to replace the sleeping tablets or whatever else people need to take before they go to sleep this peak, maybe more realistically next peak.
Now, as we mentioned at the outset, we are doing a survey of how the carriers are preparing for peak, things like hiring surges, predictions for parcel volumes, little things like that. It only takes a couple of minutes to complete the survey. I'll put a link below to the survey, so please, if you haven't yet completed it, go in and complete the survey. Every carrier that completes the survey will get a free copy of the report. Marek, anything you want to quickly mention before we wrap up?
No, I just want to say that, fingers crossed for everyone. It's going to be probably the most challenging peak ever. We're rooting for all of you guys and girls out there. And it would be great if people could send us their stories of, every little success they've had. We'll love to cover it, because I think this peak, people are going to need something to keep them sort of smiling. And
remember to work with your communications teams, because if you leave that of a communications void when it comes to whatever problems there might be, it's not a great look. And other people will leap in and try to make you, whether you're a post or a private carrier, they'll try to make you look bad. So keep those communications open. Yeah. Marek Różycki, thanks for being part of this special Last Mile Profits today.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, everyone.